Hi everyone, Andrew here and Joe from Lang & Simmons. First of all guys, Joe, thanks for coming on board. I can see you sort of settling in really well. How are you finding things?
Yeah, good. Very busy, buzzing along. Yeah, excellent.
Okay, all right. We've definitely got something really exciting that we want to share with you. Something really cool with that state government has rolled out. So Joe, if you just want to we're reading off a laptop here, and Joe will just give you a bit of a rundown.
Okay, so state government, as they're looking at changing some laws, it's actually come into effect. So basically what it is, it's the low and mid-rising housing policy is about creating more homes and choice for people for different stages of their lives. We need more and mid-rise housing to fill the gaps between freestanding homes and high-rise apartments and buildings, so that everyone has a choice of the type of home they can live in.
And so basically, it's about, like Joe just said, it's about filling that gap between the two types. I mean, unfortunately in Sydney, it's almost like you either live in an apartment or you live in a freestanding house, and there's almost nothing in between. There's five types. Would you mind just reading them off the site?
Okay, the first one's the dual occupancies. You got multi-dwelling housing terraces, and residential flat buildings, and shop top housing.
All right, so there's five. Now guys, what I really want to highlight here is the first one, dual occupancies. We, reading this website from State Planning, we interpreted that meant that it could be statewide. So pretty much there are maps for town centres that have been identified by State Planning. These town centres roll out across New South Wales in different pockets. We're not going to go into all of New South Wales, but just Joe, if you just want to just identify some of the ones around our catchment area.
Yeah, there's Mount Druitt, Penrith, and Blacktown.
Doonside?
And Doonside, yeah, that's pretty much within our council working area.
Yeah. So basically, we're not quite sure. Rudy Hill and Marion, for whatever given reason, weren't identified. We're quite positive that they will come later on, hopefully. But for the moment, they're the areas. So what what state government does, guys, they've got like maps, and you can actually see an 800 metre
highlighted area, and within the town centre, in their stipulated town centre is a shopping centre and a train station, and it's highlighted, and then it's like an 800 metre sort of radius around that, and it's highlighted, and not all streets are in it. It's a bit of a shaded sort of scenario, and that's opened up, in our opinion, a lot more use of the land within that zoning, especially in the 5 different ways you can do it.
Look, it's fantastic. So just to sort of go back a bit, so there's 5 different stages or codes or types, whatever you want to call it. There's a couple that are statewide that you don't need to be in those areas.
Highlighted,
yeah. And there's a couple where you do. So we're going to try to interpret it to you that it's sort of understandable. And then no doubt, if you have any queries, please just email or call State Planning. You do need to lodge a DA, a development application. So it's not a CDC where you go private certifier. I confirm that.
Yeah.
So what they did say to me is state government override the councils with certain criteria. And then stuff like colour and street appeal, you probably will need to conform with the local councils. But Joe, let's just get into the dual occupancies, which this is a statewide one, guys.
All right. Okay. So it's dual occupancies. So statewide, these are the old duplexes that were built. Probably people who remember back in the early '90s, up until probably about '94. So single level attached or double story attached, facing the street. They're your simple 3-4 bedroom duplexes with the garages facing the street and a fence line in the back. And at that time, you could do like a Torrance style or a strata subdivision at the time. Councils then moved away from that, and now this has come in, and as far as we're interpreting it, statewide, minimum lot 450 square metres with a 12 metre front. You can actually now put a DA into council with a plan through your builder, and looks like this is going forward. Looks like you can actually do it. So the old fibre homes or whatever, if you want to extend on that, you can put your plan in. that will have to go. Obviously, put the new plan with a double story or a single level, and we do a division, a subdivision on that.
Yeah, and off we go. And that's significant because over the past 20 odd years, in the Blacktown LGA at least, man, we needed like 600 square metres on a corner
block,
to be able to subdivide. Whereas here, the thing to know as well, guys, if your property is flood affected, bushfire, and heritage.
Heritage as well.
Yeah, you might have to make some further queries. That's not an automatic one. You'd have to ask them about that.
Correct.
But I find that so exciting. Just the fact that you can actually subdivide. That is so good.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you want to talk about?
Just also in regards to that, there is a stormwater scenario you need to adhere to. So if you unfortunately got a block that has got a really steep incline away from the street, again, you need to either pick up an easement from your neighbour at the back, have a stormwater easement in your block. So there are criteria around that, so you still need to adhere to it.
Yep. I find this one amazing. Multi-dwelling housing. So pretty much what they say on their website is 3 or more dwellings on the one lot. Joe, if you could please just explain those.
Yeah, so non-discretionary development standard, so it's in R1, 2, 3 and 4 zones. Lot size minimum of 600 square metres with a minimum lot of 12 metre front.
Yeah,
You got a floor space ratio of 0.7 to 1, max is 9.5 metres high. Car parking, 1 space per dwelling.
Okay, the next section is multi-dwelling housing. Effectively, we interpret that as villas and townhouses.
Yeah.
So it's very, very different now, and we believe this is statewide, not just in the catchment area. So, yeah, Joe, if you just want to quickly explain.
Okay, so basically what it is, it was permitted previously in R1 and R3 zones, it's now permitted in R2 zones now. So it's a minimum lot of 600 square metres, 12 metre front, 9.5 metre height in height, with 1 car space per dwelling. So what was available in 1 and 3 zones is now also available in R2 zonings.
Yeah, and once again, as far as we interpret it, it's across the state. It's not in those catchment areas. The next one is multi-dwelling housing terraces. Terraces, I interpret that as what we see a lot in Surrey Hills,
correct.
Chippendale, those kind of like attached.
Yeah, like 5 metre front or 6 metre front, all attached.
Triangle, right?
Yes,
I think
correct.
So.
Yes.
Yep. And you want to just read those specs, please, Joe?
Okay. So again, it's now permitted. It was permitted only in 1 and 3, R1 and R3 zones. Now again in R2. So minimum lot 500 square metres with a minimum lot of 18 metre front. So there are different criteria for different scenarios. 18 metre front in Blacktown Council, I would say there's quite a few. The majority probably be 15, but 18 it is possible. 9.5 metre height and a car spot of 0.5 per dwelling. 0.5, I'm not sure exactly what 0.5 means. Half a car. Not sure. But I think the reason why is that it probably wouldn't have a garage, you have a car space in front. Again, architectural drawings will need to be done, and that will sort that out.
And it's like you were saying before, like 165 square metres per lot and 6 metres minimum per lot.
Going back to that 6 metre front, that's what the old terrace used to be in either like Newtown and Ultimo, 6 metre fronts, but then you couldn't park your car on the street because back then there was no cars. But yeah, so if you could do it, probably it'd be the half car metre spot would be that you park off the street into the property. And that's what that probably would mean.
Now, this is another one that is awesome. 3 or more apartments in a 2-story building. So effectively, in a 2-story building, 3 or more apartments. So not having to do 4, not having to do 10, 3 or more in a 2-story. So, Joe, if you wouldn't mind just gently going through zone by zone.
Yeah, sure. Okay, this was permitted previously in R4 zoning as only. Now again in R2 and in 3. So minimum lot 500 square metres, minimum width 12 metres, minimum height 9. So these are all pretty much standard sort of scenarios in regards to criterion, land size, widths and heights. Again 0.5 space per dwelling. So
basically the one you just mentioned was R1 and R2. That's what that's applicable for. Yeah. And then now
then you've got R3 and R4. So in your R3 and R4 zones, it's a maximum. Obviously, things change. You can actually go to 22 metres high. Max stories are 6 stories, and it's
22 metres high.
Correct.
As well.
So it does change considerably if you are in the R4 zone.
Yeah, and the other thing as well, guys, don't want to get too technical, but they allow different things depending upon how close you are to the town centre. So from 0 to 400 metres, you've got certain requirements.
Yeah.
And then from 400 to 800 metres from the station or the town centre, you've got other requirements. Again, we won't get too technical. We've given you a lot of information. And the last one, let's just quickly get into it, is 1 or more apartments above ground floor shops. So, Joe, if you wouldn't mind just giving a quick rundown of those.
Yep. Okay, so an R1, 2 zones, lot 500 squares, again, 12 metre width in the front, 9.5 metres high. So these sort of developments are already sort of up and going now. So you'll see from time to time, you'll see shops down the stairs, and you'll see the apartment buildings on the second, third, fourth level. Again, this was probably in the 3 and 4 zones previously. Again, now you can do it in an R2. But this one, from my understanding, you need to be within the 800.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, you've got to be within the 800 metre. So if you're in 800 metres of a town centre, which is a highlighted area, then you can do this sort of development.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
what you couldn't do before, you can do now, providing you are within the 800 metre radius.
Yeah. And guys, in summary, I think what we'll do is we'll wrap it up. Joe, how do you feel this sort of benefits people with their options?
Look, I think it opens up. I mean, what you couldn't, like, it was pretty limited to what you could do before, and especially in the Blacktown Council. This is going to open up a lot more opportunity for people who want to do something different to their standard 3-4 bedroom fibro home that's been there for the last 60 years. If instead of having a 3-4 bedroom fibro, at the minimum, if you want to do it, you can keep it, knock it down, and build a duplex. One house disappears, and you've got 2 brand new ones. Then you get opportunity again, you can do the subdivision. You can keep one, keep both, sell both. There's a few things you can do. So I think it's going to make a bit of a difference. It's not going to be quick overnight. It will slowly filter through. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, actually.
Yeah, no, agreed. Guys, again, thank you very much for those clients that followed Joe and came over and merged in with us at Lang & Simmons Blacktown. Thank you. As you can see, Joe's very much important part of what we're doing. If you'd like any clarification or you've got some questions about this, could you please give Joe a call on 0408 423 885. Yes, I still remember his number after all these years. And if there's anything I can do as well, 0414 707 011. But I'm sure we can clarify and help you. We will look to share the links as well.
Yep.
All the best.
Interesting times ahead, definitely, 100%.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.